Now to the focus at 4. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders were the two biggest standouts from the first Democratic presidential debate on CNN last night.
All four of Clinton's fellow candidates seemed to take aim at her as she tried to distance herself from other Democrats and the current administration.
One of the main talking points of the night was, of course, Clinton's email controversy. Some of the other candidates raised questions about Clinton's character and judgment when referring to the emails, which they stated was still an issue to be taken seriously.
And while Bernie Sanders did take his fair share of jabs at Clinton during the debate, the most memorable moment, I think a lot would say, of the night came when he actually defended Clinton on the email scandal, and here's what he had to say.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too.
The candidates spent the rest of the night discussing hot topic issues, anywhere from gun control to foreign policy. Republican candidate Donald Trump, during this whole thing, I was on Twitter watching what he was tweeting or retweeting some of the comments. Donald Trump basically said that was a snore fest, that it was boring, and other than that moment we just aired right there with Bernie Sanders, wasn't really anything there.
He did, however, approve of Bernie Sanders' remarks about Clinton's email, stating on Twitter, "Good move by Bernie."
Any thoughts to that?
You know, I don't want to get too political here, but
it's a good idea.
But yeah, right, that is a great idea. Somebody brought up, and this was on some form of social media, that Bernie Sanders sounds a lot like Larry David in Seinfeld when he's impersonating George Steinbrenner.
I won't disagree with that.
And that's all I can think of now when I hear Bernie Sanders talk. So
right.
that's my opinion.
That's a good
that
side
debate.
note.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on, a woman from Connecticut attempting to sue her 12-year-old nephew for $127,000 has lost.
The woman is suing her nephew for injuries she says she suffered at the 8-year-old's birthday party a few years ago.
Jennifer Connell says she suffered injuries after at the time, 8-year-old nephew gave her an overly enthusiastic greeting. Connell says the boy acted unreasonably when he jumped into her arms to greet her, causing her to fall to the ground and break her wrist.
Connell says that while she does love her nephew, she still thinks that he should be held accountable. Again, we're talking about an 8-year-old. She says that she has a hard time walking up the stairs in her apartment complex. She says her social life has been affected by all this. I feel like there's more to this story because I don't get it. I really don't.
I don't really get it either. Connell admits that she didn't complain about the injury at the time, but that it has made her life increasingly difficult over the past few years.
So your 8-year-old nephew jumps on you, give you a hug, you fall down, you break your wrist, and then you sue him?
Sue him. That's the American way.
There's either more to the story or she's lost it.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Towards the latter, but that's just me.
Okay, all right. Hey, a recent study is shedding some light on why employees leave their jobs.
400 full-time U.S. employees were surveyed in the study, and here are what some of the results were.
The study shows that there's a strong connection between job satisfaction and managers. Employees are more likely to stay at their job if they've got more freedom to make decisions themselves instead of being micromanaged. A survey also indicated that a positive work culture or environment is needed to keep employees.
Peer relationships make a huge difference as well. Good relationships with managers, coworkers, and others within the company lead to a positive work culture as well, which makes it more likely for employees to stay. Compensation is, of course, a factor too. Employees generally feel they should be paid for their quality of their workplace performance.
The study did show that while compensation is important on that list, it's actually not as high as some of the other factors. I don't know about you. I agree with all this. I'd rather make a little less money, but have a better boss and be happier where I'm at.
I'm
and not make as much.
100% with you.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think that makes sense.
Often at the beginning or middle of your workday, you're feeling a bit sluggish and need that caffeine kick to wake you up. For many, the first thought is to go straight to coffee.
In many cases, coffee is actually not the healthiest way to wake up. There's a new study from UCLA that says there's actually some mental tricks that you can use to convince your body that you don't really need that cup of coffee.
The study says there are 4 specific ways to wake yourself up without caffeine. Watching a viral video can entertain you and help you lose that zoned out feeling. I would tend to disagree with that one, but this one, absolutely. Drinking a glass of water, that'll save you from dehydration, which really leaves you feeling tired and can give you headaches too.
There's another healthy way to do this. You can just go outside, walk around for a few minutes. That's also going to raise your heart rate. It'll wake you up. Finally, simply eating a mint or maybe chewing some gum, that can counteract some of the sleepiness and your desire to even eat or drink something.
Researchers who conducted the survey say that if you still feel like you need that cup of coffee, it's possibly you may actually need more sleep.
The study finds that people are
figure.
staying up too late. They don't get enough sleep. I find this very ironic that our producer, Alex, put this story in, but yet he is the one who will, and I'm not lying about this, down about 6 or 7 cups of coffee in a day here in the state.
Some people, that's how you got to get through the day. So what
I
can
guess.
you do?
All right. Hey, before we go to break, we do want to mention this. If you have any kids or if you know any children who are struggling with a divorce in a family, there's a new resource that can help out with this. The Children's Worship Center at Aldergate UMC here in College Station is holding divorce care for kids. Workshops are over the next few months. It's for children in between the ages of 5 and 12 years old. You do have to register. Again, it's at the Children's Worship Center, Aldergate UMC. It's from October 21st. The next available class is October 21st from 6:30 to 8:30. If you want that number, you need that information, call us here at the station. We'd be happy to give it to you. And we'll be back right after this.
You're watching First News at